The horrors persist, but so do I. This is kind of random, but over the years, the SD cards that are in these printers get lost, and you might think, well, just buy some more. But I found that most brands of SD card that I buy do not work. And I don't want to do Octoprint and a Raspberry Pi on all of these guys and stuff. I mean, maybe it wouldn't be that hard, but I found somebody on eBay that was selling printer files that were on a micro SD card that was this brand, and the files on the card were for these printers. So that means logically that this brand should work on these printers. I also made sure they're the same size and stuff. So it would be really good if I didn't have a finite supply of these cards, because they get lost and stuff. So we're gonna try them out today. Here's actually an example, to show you something that you haven't seen before. This is how, here, let me paste it. That's taking longer than I thought it would. This is how my naming conventions work. So this is a post-apocalyptic headset. I haven't made one of those in a while. I put the amount of hours and the amount of grams in. And this is so that I can both anticipate how much filament it needs, which most of the time I can kind of eyeball it, and how long it's gonna take approximately. And I do correct this if it takes a different amount of time. So I loaded that on the SD card, and we're gonna see if it shows up on a printer. All right, old one, new one. This is the moment of truth, guys. Oh yeah. For 6 years, I have had a finite supply of these, and I lose them, and then there's printers that don't have them. But we are in the game, bro. If you're ever looking for replacement cards, I don't think that's even gonna focus on it. Vexis. It's like VEXIS, that works. Oh man. The lights are flickering. Hopefully the power doesn't go out. Well, the power didn't go out fully, but I had to do a print resume on this. Man, I didn't even do the morning roundup yet. Hopefully this will actually work. Print resume is notoriously like kind of messed up. I don't know, it seems like it's kind of doing it. I've had enough power outages that this is a little tip for you guys. You'll notice sometimes, just in general, that it doesn't turn on. Sometimes with the switch. This was already messed up. We were about to talk about it. But what you can do, move the thing or move some motor, and that will turn it on. Yup. Normally I would have done a print resume on this, but like I said, something wrong with the filament. So sometimes the bane of my existence is living in a swampy area, because actually it hadn't rained for it seemed like a month and a half or something like that. But I would say the power goes out maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And the thing is, I really have thought about getting battery backups for all of the printers and stuff. Maybe I should, I don't know. But it just doesn't, it's one of those things that doesn't quite happen enough that I'm like, oh, this is a major problem. But every time it does happen, it's like I kind of wish I would have solved it. One tip for print resume: you have the best chance of it actually working if you resume as quickly as possible. Also, I find moving the extruder out of the way for some reason helps. But yeah, I feel like this is actually gonna work. Maybe. Decided not to print anything. There's just too high a risk of it getting messed up. We're kind of finishing the stuff that will finish, but let's do the morning roundup. This guy was coming out fine, but this is a terminal layer shift. There's no coming back from that. And that's from the print resume. This Sharky boy came out fine. Now, you might remember that that guitar snake messed up twice. So I decided to print 2 of them. And thankfully, this one is actually, it does appear to be printing correctly. So, man, the universe did not want that guitar snake to get printed. I already pulled this guy off, but a Freud, one of the little support things, got slightly loose, but it came out fine. This messed up, but it's pretty early in the game. That's not that much plastic. This organizer got done, and this is what it's supposed to look like. We already saw this, but there's some kind of problem here. I haven't actually figured it out. This cat skull turned out fine. Dino skull, fine. And I believe this is gonna be okay as well. I don't think there's a layer shift. I can't feel one anyway. And Sharky. I think what I am gonna do is take this opportunity to just print a bunch of spools. The reason being, if a spool messes up, I mean, I guess there's some plastic I have to recycle from that, but it's not that big a deal. Nobody's gonna be mad. Plus I need spools. Man, I don't even think I can take packages out in this. I think those big boxes are just gonna get soaked instantly. I guess it'll wait. I think I'm gonna box things up, and as soon as it clears up, we'll take it to clients. It's supposed to be raining a lot though. Gonna get some things packaged. Just did a T-Rex dish actually, and this of course is the black and white David. Time to get the giant T-Rex head out the door. You just use tons and tons and tons of bubble wrap on this guy. Sharko. Okay, we've got a little bit of a moment of clarity outside, let's say. So, I think we're gonna do packages. We're gonna get coffee while we can. And then, oh yeah, we're gonna get bolts for the fries, and they're painted. The fries are painted. Think about it. You're about to see this episode. What this means is this episode you're gonna see the fries. I mean, you probably will have known that, because if I'm gonna take pictures today, that means I'm probably gonna make it the thumbnail, so. But we'll get a lot more pictures. You've seen one picture of the fries, probably in the thumbnail, but you're gonna see the fries, like really see the fries. See the fries like you've never seen them before. I already know what I'm gonna call it. Ding, fries are done. Seriously though, we gotta get this done before it starts pouring again. I've been meaning to make fries basically since I made the burger. And I made the burger well before this series. My initial thing almost was to make a value meal kind of thing. You get the burger, you get the fries, and maybe like a shake or something. You know, just do the whole thing. Yeah, you guys are gonna see it today. Just a little one today for Klein's. Wow, look how flooded it is back there. Really hope it doesn't like actually flood. It may have stopped, I don't know. I did check out the weather online, and it was supposed to stop like this, but it might be hitting us up again. I don't even know. I probably have to try and print things overnight. Maybe I'll print things when I get back, hoping that if the rain comes in overnight, the stuff will be done by then. If he makes you coffee. People really forget Sheryl Crow was kind of good once. So I've been thinking about the movie Liar Liar since it came out, which I want to say is like mid-90s or something. And it just occurred to me that the only rule in Liar Liar is Jim Carrey, the only stated rule is that Jim Carrey can't lie, right? But there's no rule ever stated that he has to respond. thing that made me think this is, I don't know if you guys are debaters or ever have been, but a debate tactic both ways is when you ask somebody a question, they feel an obligation to respond. And it is a stupid debate if people ask questions and never get responses. But sometimes you want to ask somebody a question to change the subject in a subtle way so that you're changing to a subject that favors you. On the other direction, like, sometimes not responding to a question can be good for sort of the same reason. So I guess it would have been an unsatisfying movie if people had been asking Jim Carrey questions and he never lied, but he just changed the subject or asked a question in response or just ignored it. But it does go against the stated rules of the movie that, like, there's nothing saying he has to respond. Also, not responding to questions isn't always a weaselly tactic, because sometimes those questions have premises baked into them. It's the old reporter question of like, so when did you start beating your wife? Like, that's not the kind of question you just respond to, right? Like, there are real circumstances where you don't answer questions, or you ask a question in response, or you just can't honestly answer a question because you're including a premise that is false either way you answer, any way you answer. I don't know why I was thinking about that, but I just realized Liar Liar did not have any kind of thing where he had to respond. Yup, this giant dinosaur boy is international, which means it's the post office. The post office has changed some of what its services are called a bit. For the longest time, first class mail was the slowest way to send it. Like, typical government agency, first class is the worst class. Time to get coffee. Man, I really need it. Today was frustrating. I don't know, I'm not trying to be too negative. All the power outage stuff is just so annoying. Today's gonna be Friday. Like, we've been waiting for this. This is like our Woodstock, man. We are releasing the fries today. Oh man, I should have done this on Friday. Brew now, I like a pour over. Wow, look at that. That is a bad day. Every time I have like a failed print or the power goes out or something, I should think about that. That actually has been me before. I've had a wheel completely fall off. Actually, I don't know what happened there, but I've had a wheel completely fall off and just roll. Slight rejoinder to that, a big truck like that, they either are doing payments, which is generally financially irresponsible, and like, nobody needs a truck that big. I mean, there are people, but very few people need a truck that big. Or they're rich. So either this situation, which is going to kind of screw them, could be avoided because they could have been financially more responsible, or they're rich and it doesn't matter. Like, if you're paying $500-600 a month in car payments, which is probably not that bad an estimate for a truck like that, especially if you don't have very good credit and stuff, I would imagine. Think about saving $500 to $600 a month by just getting a cash car. Like, if something happens with your wheel like that, it sucks, but you've saved up in a year, you've saved up, you know, let's say it's 500. So that would be $6,000 a year. So you should be in the clear. Now, people are gonna say, like, well, don't you need reliable transportation? It was a much better argument to pay almost any price just to have reliable transportation in the era before Uber. But think about saving $500 to $600 a month, and then like there's a day eventually when your car has to be in the shop. Like, taking Uber back and forth to work, even for a week, is going to be cheaper in the long run. There are exceptions that you could probably cook up, but the moral of the story is essentially nobody actually needs a car that has payments. I'm not saying like if you want to have a car with payments, it's your money, do what you want. I'm just saying like don't feel like you have to, and there is almost certainly a better option for you. Now I'm sure saying all that stuff about car payments, I have no illusions about what the statistics are. A lot of you probably will have car payments, and I'm not trying to put you down, but you get the truth from this channel. I've never had a car payment. I've been homeless. I've lived on the street for 4 years. And when you're in that situation, you have to make good financial decisions. Like whether or not you have a $200, $300, $500 car payment, A, it's not an option, but B, even if it was, it's like, you're not doing that. You will get my honest opinion from this channel. I'm not really trying to provoke people, but I care about the truth more than potentially provoking people. You guys deserve to hear it. And car payments are the payday lender of the middle class. Not me saying it, Dave Ramsey saying it. Getting them bolts. Wait a second. They wouldn't tease me, would they? I didn't measure, but I believe these will work. The fries are designed for 1/2-inch bolts, but I'm not sure about the length. I think this is more than enough. I'm so glad they have the heavy-duty boxes again. One less piece of drama. And we got the bolts. I think I'm just gonna get a cold brew with cream, a large. That'll be it. Thanks. Classic choice. Man, it got gloomy out. Glad we got coffee before the big one drops. I was thinking for a second, I was thinking about the chick band rant from a few episodes ago. And I was thinking about like Taylor Swift and what actually sort of bothers me about Taylor Swift. Not that I'm terribly bothered by Taylor Swift. It's more like she's just really boring, honestly. But on some level, there kind of is something. And I think I've really figured out it's definitely not the femininity. There's lots of like female artists that are even not that far off from Taylor Swift that I like. I really like Dido. I mean, I guess she's not sort of current, but in the early 2000s, I loved Dido. The Life for Rent album is pretty solid. I would say like 75% of that album is pretty good. But really, on paper, she's not that different than Taylor Swift. But the thing that bothers me about Taylor Swift is like, it's almost like there's just total, perfect lack of self-awareness. In the sense that she writes these songs and still writes these songs that sound like a 16-year-old wrote them. And I have no problem with a 16-year-old girl writing songs. Like, I was a 16-year-old boy writing songs. And some of my stuff sounds kind of cringy, but it was also very honest, so whatever. But she's like my age. Taylor Swift, I think, is my age, or maybe even slightly older. It's like, you're still writing all this breakup stuff about like, man, give us some hope. By this point, you should have figured stuff out. I edited myself there. I think that's what it is. It's like, man, we all hope that we're gonna learn some stuff as we progress through life. And like, it seems like she's pretty much in the exact same position she was 20 years ago, except she's a lot richer now. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me. You know, you can just not be a problem, right? Like, that's an option. You can just be an adult and pretty much not be a problem at all. You're a billionaire. You ever find it funny that the word dismissive has become like the ultimate thing that you can't do? Like, you can't be dismissive. You just can't be dismissive. Like, nowadays in society, probably 80% of things should just be dismissed. Like, I dismiss it all. Dismissed. I think it's finally cassette time. And I think we're gonna do, these fit in there kind of tight, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida by Iron Butterfly, one of the most underrated albums of the 60s. And I say that because, of course, it was very famous for its title track, In-A-Gadda-Da-Vida, but like every other song on here pretty much is amazing. Hopefully it's rewound. You're about to get your head blown in. All All right, gotta rewind it. Here we go. I turned it around this way. Most anything that you want, girl, is most in my heat. Flowers and beads are one thing, but having you, girl, is something. You know, something I was just thinking about, when you think about what kids sort of enjoyed in the 50s and 60s, maybe early to mid 60s, it was always like all this space travel and adventures, and obviously there's westerns and stuff like that. And to some degree, especially we're talking about young boys and stuff, they're always going to like things like that. But do you ever think that was partially fueled by the fact that their parents, like their dads specifically for the most part, went on an adventure that was like extremely dangerous, and obviously many of them died, you know, in World War II in Korea, obviously. It's like, I feel like there was some kind of subconscious thing there that was a little beyond just what would have normally happened, where all of those kids like sort of maybe envied or wanted to be like their fathers who had gone on this adventure in Europe. Part of what makes me think that is because we think of going international as not being that unusual, you know, going to different countries, going across the pond. But like, people did not travel the world commonly back in those days. Like, you could end up in a hedgerow in France somewhere, and you're just some guy that grew up in Iowa, and the farthest away from home that you ever went was like Nebraska, maybe once. It's why in Lord of the Rings, Sam says that thing of like, if I take one step further, this will be the farthest away from home I've ever been. It's because like Tolkien did that, you know, obviously Britain, but yeah. I got a Freude, baby.
There never seems to be enough time down, to know. You're the one I want to go. Help me place this car. See the number on the mail, but that's not the way it feels.
Regular guy wouldn't do. On no lover's cross for you. On no lover's cross. Just a word of advice. I was thinking about somebody I know that is kind of trying to choose a direction in life, and I think a really good heuristic is if you have two options and one of them scares you more, that's probably the thing you're meant to do. Even if it wasn't what you were meant to do, you at least learned how to do something you're terrified of. I painted the base of the fries so that the paint would match. I don't want those two tones to be off. We're printing some more bed knobs. I kind of didn't notice this morning because the power went out, but this layer shifted, and it's because these bed knobs keep slipping off. I'd had this problem a couple times with this one, but it's time to just make a set of these. Really, ultimately, by Christmas, I probably need to make a set for each one of these printers. This one has them. We showed that in a video a while back, and it's been perfect. Oh, you almost had it. Oh, I'm about to take some pictures with them. I think they came out a little bit like cartoony looking. Maybe the optimum would be to try to make them look like a pack of McDonald's fries, like as much as possible. But I think it works. I mean, I'm trying to imagine what restaurants might like, or somebody that gets it as a gag gift for somebody that loves fries or something. I think it works. So we'll take some pictures with these things. Also, the seam where they connect is pretty visible, but trust me, I tried to figure out all kinds of ways of orienting the object so I didn't have to split it into two objects, and there just wasn't a way. Like, I could have made much smaller fries, but I want them to be big fries. So, I don't know. It's gonna have to be okay. I'm not exactly sure what possessed me, but for the fries, I'm doing kind of a beachside fishing wharf resort theme. Just thinking about those nice coastal restaurants. Get a little filet with some fries. Finishing up a bunch of orders. Just painting them eyes on. Man, something I'm kind of discovering with these 8 large printers is like setting them up to print kind of is taking like an appreciable amount of time now. I mean, these big beds take kind of a long time to heat up. So it's like you do that and then you have to wait a while. I mean, I should probably try and do a bunch at once, although they're getting done at different times. So it's not like a coordinated thing. But I mean, it's not a big deal. It's just good to remember, like, yeah, that's gonna take a second. These two guys are going to the same home. We already did this guy, and I think they're both red. In case you were wondering with this dish, I had the hardest time with these feet not bumping off or messing up. So that's why we connected them with these little strands and stuff, which works. I don't know how to do this one-handed. Time to do the giant cat skull. A little bit of stringing, but it should clean up nice. There we go. This thing is massive. Got 4 of these. Just a little bit of stringing. They're all going black and white fade. Looks like everybody's printing. Everybody's FDMing. I'm kind of reasonably sure that the bad weather has gone away. So we're just doing a normal print run. It's really a good thing that I've got 8 of these printers now, because even when we have some failures, it's not that big a deal because I've been printing a crap load of stuff. Ugh. Ugh. How you doing, D20? Good? Okay. Oh, man, what a day. This is one of these days that I never know whether on the videos it seems like I've done a lot of stuff. Not exactly showing everything. Not because I don't want to, but it's like, you're really gonna take a video of like every last thing you do. I packaged a lot of things. I painted a lot of things. I printed a lot of things. That's what the wall looks like. I meant to show it earlier. I just took a couple rolls from this one too. So it's getting pretty full. Ultimately, that might be the first thing I'm sort of thankful for. I don't know what could happen where I would need that stockpile now, especially with 2 extruders, because I would still at least have 1. But it feels so good. It's like a really good insurance policy. Most insurance policies kind of suck, or at least have a negative connotation, because everybody hates paying insurance. Sometimes it's worse to not pay insurance. It doesn't mean you don't hate it. So that feels really good. Basically all 8 printers, big printers, are doing okay. I actually have to put the bed knobs on that one because I just got all the bed knobs printed, so I couldn't do it today. It's not super crucial. I'm getting more of the little printers into the game, kind of fixing them up. That should, I mean, I've done 7. This will be my 7th Christmas, so that's not a big deal. Everything is humming along in a mostly pretty agreeable way. Finally got the fries. Pictures taken. I actually didn't list it for sale yet. Maybe I'll talk about this sometime. It helps to do I don't know how much you guys know about SEO. I mean, a lot of you probably have shops and stuff. You probably learned a bit about it. But SEO, I've never done any real advertising. Like, I do ads on Etsy, and I optimize them so that I'm getting like 3-to-1, 4-to-1 profit ratios and stuff like that. But that's not even really, like, external ads is a lot more complex than Etsy ads. So I've kind of never really advertised. I've never advertised like out in the wild, you know, on the internet. So it's almost all been through SEO. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because I haven't done all that necessary research and stuff for the fries yet. So that's going to be a thing tomorrow. I'm really grateful to finally get the fries done. Man, I really wanted to make that one piece so it didn't have the seam in the middle. But I don't think people are going to care. Anybody that does, it's like there's nothing I could really do about it. So, see, I even thought about making the yellow fries their own object and to fit in the red cup, but I measured it out and it still I couldn't really make it big enough. And plus, there's just a lot I could say about that, but that was the best solution. Anyway, I'm grateful for those things. You guys know what projects I've got going on. Also, episode 99 is the big episode where you're gonna ask questions and I'm gonna answer the questions on 100. So save up those questions for episode 99. I mean it. I want to see a deluge of questions, that most of which I will probably answer. So tell me what you're grateful for in the comments. Tell me what projects you're working on, what you got going on. Do you sell things online that are 3D printed? Is it just a real fun hobby for you? I'm interested. Let me know in the comments and you'll probably get a heart. You'll probably get an upvote. Other people will probably upvote your stuff. Maybe. I don't actually pay that much attention, but I think they do. So, thanks for watching. I appreciate y'all. Peace out.